They are now. Welcome back to the workshop. On today's episode, it is another HRE Uncut. I thought it was about high time I brought you up to speed with what's happening. We were kind of doing them monthly, but we got carried away between the Land Rover, all the projects that were going on and all the jobs we had to do. So today is a chance just to bring you up to speed with where the workshop is. We're in May now, so it's that kind of time where the sunny weather is coming out and everybody is interested in their cars. Well, someone would have to tell the weather here in Ireland that it's sunny. Literally 5 minutes ago we had a hailstorm, and 5 minutes after that it was beaten with sunshine. So yeah, I suppose when you live on an island in the North Atlantic, what can you expect? So some of the cars that are in the shop, some you'll recognize from videos previously on the channel, some you may have seen before or may not. This 1275 GT had a lot of work done to it here over the last year or two. Mostly engine gearbox work. We built a 1293 motor for this I think it's about a year and a half or 2 years ago. Yeah, it was pre-COVID, I think. We built a 1293 for it, and it ran really quite well. At the time we didn't do the gearbox, and unfortunately a bearing let go in the gearbox and it came back to me for a full gearbox rebuild. At that point in time we also did a lightened flywheel, and the customer did a stage 4 cylinder head. If you remember back to some of my Instagram posts about a year ago, you'll have seen that cylinder head getting done here in the shop. So it has a stage 4 cylinder head. At the time I was really struggling to get a needle or to have a needle that was the right profile for this carburetor, for this cylinder head and the cam. But just very recently the needles came into stock. I ordered them and they are landed with us. So the customers dropped the car back up to us. It has a few other small teething problems that I need to get to the bottom of. One of which is it randomly cuts out and then won't start, and you have to leave it for a while before it'll start again. I replaced the coil, which that is a symptom of coil, and that hasn't solved the problem. My thoughts next are towards the distributor. This has one of the later 69D electronic type distributors in it, and they can be funny. There's a module on them that can sometimes give trouble, and I have seen in the past before that module give a problem where that's exactly what it is. So I have a way of testing that, so I am going to do that to see if that's the problem. We're going to fit the new needle and get that adjusted and set up right so that this engine starts to produce the most it can. It actually pulls really well and runs really great, other than at slow speed and part throttle acceleration. The needle profile is just not exactly where it wants to be, and it can foul the plugs in traffic and ticking over and stuff, and cold running. So we'll get that sorted, and then that little car will be a dinger to go. The Mark 1 Cooper S FIA race car. Wow, did this get some interest on the channel. Can't believe that the video on this is heading for 12,000 views. Absolutely amazing. The car has its engine in. The engine is commissioned and ready to go. It just needs to go to the rolling road to be dialed in, to get the fueling dialed in, and to get the distributor dialed in, just to get our ignition timing right. Unfortunately, we've had a really long wait for needles for this. I knew the needle was wrong. If you remember back to the video starting this, the needle wasn't right for it. I used the needle finder on Classic Mini DIY Cole's website. Absolutely fantastic resource. Way underrated, so I'm giving that a big shout out here. Thank you so much, Cole, for putting that up there and using it. We're going to put a link in the channel, or sorry, in the description below to Cole's website, where you can find that SU needle comparison tool. It is a lifesaver, fantastic. So what I was able to do with that tool was I was able to put the needles that are in the carburetor at the moment in there, and I picked 2 needles richer and 1 needle leaner, and slightly different profiles throughout. What that is going to give me a selection of a couple of needles that I can bring with me to the rolling road. I've printed off the page from Cole's website showing the different profiles of those needles and how they vary from one to the other. What that'll do is it'll give our rolling road operator the ability to find a needle very close to the right profile that will only need some fine tuning. You might wonder, why would I get a needle leaner? You might say, the needles that are in it are already too lean. Why would you get a needle leaner? Well, the reason I got a needle leaner is I got a needle that was leaner across the whole profile. What that is useful for is when the rolling road operator needs to produce a very specific profile. If he has a needle that's leaner across the whole profile, he can then modify that needle in any place he wants to make it richer and make it exactly what he wants. So that was the theory behind that. So I actually just got a DHL shipping notice to say that they will be in Ireland hopefully tomorrow afternoon. So as soon as they land, I can ring the rolling road operator and get this Mini booked in to get its rolling road done, and then that means it will be ready for racing. The 1275 GT race car, Tom Pitcher car, this hasn't actually had much more done to it. It's due to go off to get paint done, and I've been failing on that behalf. I need to take some videos and organise with the painter to get some paint done. So I'm going to get that done this week and get it organised. Then it can get its new graphics put on. The white stripe here has to get moved. The white stripe should actually be at the front edge of the bonnet. At the time we got the graphics done, we weren't sure, so the guy that did the graphics decided he'd put it there for us. It's fine, but we want to get the car as close to period correct as it should be, so the white stripe needs to get moved up. So once it gets its paint and get its white stripe done, the only other thing this needs is a spin on the rollers just to make sure that the ignition timing is right and the fueling is still right, and then that's ready to race this season. So that's sitting here at the moment, but it'll be going out of here in the next couple of days. If we head on here through to the engine shop, we have a couple of interesting projects, should I say, going on in here. What do you think these are? So, keen viewers on the channel, in the comment section below, what are these? Obviously, they're SUs. They're 1.25" SUs. Inch and a half. It actually might be 1.75", isn't it? Wait till we have a look. Yeah, 1.75" SUs. What are they off of? Have a look at that manifold, see can you figure it out. 1.75" HS6s is what they are. So a customer dropped these in actually just today for a rebuild. So we'll order up parts tomorrow morning for these. We'll get a full rebuild kit from Berlin in the UK, and we'll strip these out. As far as I know, it also needs the spindle bearings replaced. There's a sort of a these spindles are in the body, but you can probably just hear that there. I'll bring my mic up close to it so you can hear. So that's the play in the spindle shafts. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to set these up on the milling machine, dial them in, bore out the spindle shaft, and then put a bronze bushing in there and ream that bronze bushing to size for a new spindle. And what that'll do then is it'll give this customer a much better performing carburetor. He's having trouble with air leaks on idle, so we're going to completely rebuild those. So I'll get a bit of that going on the channel for you. You guys can get to see some of that, see what you think of it. Over here to the bench, we have a couple of projects over here on the bench. This is an Ally radiator that the customer shipped to me, and he wants me to modify it to put in the water takeoff. So if you haven't seen that video, I did a video very recently, and I'll put a link to it up in the corner here, where I explained some of the cooling systems, or the way the cooling systems are in our race cars. Customer asked me, loved what he's seen in the video and wanted that same thing to happen for his car. So he said, I'm going to ship you the rad, and if you could please fit one of those bypass pipes in there, I'd greatly appreciate it. So we'll get this piece welded in for him, and the rad will be ready to go. Very interesting. I don't know what the story is or where these rads are being made. Like, they are a good quality looking rad. There's good amount of aluminium in it. I like the way they have the drain bung done here. Nice and accessible. I like that it's an aluminium drain bung and not sort of a cheap rubber plastic one that are in some of the other rads. The quality of the welding is fine. It's not the best I've ever seen, but it's good. It's more than acceptable. But something that I find really, really odd about this, and you have to think that maybe they've welded it on the wrong way around. This is the pipe for overflow. It's the overflow pipe for the rad. And I would expect that overflow pipe to be here, which is the natural position for it on a Mini. In this position, it's weird. It's going to come across the cylinder head. And where is he going to go with it? I don't know. I feel like that there isn't the boss on this side, so I feel like it really should have been welded on there. But sure, look, that's what it is. It'll be fine. You know, you can put an elbow on it or something like that and it'll be fine. But yeah, other than that, it's a nice quality piece of kit. You know, the core looks to be reasonably good in it. Nice, decent size in the core. It's got one of those Japanese, Chinese terms that are caps, which, you know, they're nice, but I always find the fit of them a bit chunky. You know, they don't always feel really nice in the hand. So I prefer the bigger cap. I think they're a bit nicer and easier to hold on to. But look, for all intents and purposes, it'll work perfectly fine for what he wants. So we'll drill a hole in it, we'll cut an aluminium boss and we'll weld that in there and that'll work for him. A little side project. I want to mention this little project because I think you guys are going to find this interesting. So you know that I have a Series 3 Land Rover. You've probably seen some of the videos that I have put up on it. And one of the things it has is it has a servo for servo assisted brakes. But it has one of these Venturi situations. It's a 2.25 litre diesel engine. And it has one of these Venturi in the inlet manifold situations to create vacuum for the servo. And to be frankly honest, they're useless. They're absolutely brutal and don't work. So I've been searching for a solution. And I was in my local motor factors, who are a lovely bunch of people and often look after me and let me go root around on the shelves. And they pointed me in the direction of their mechanical vacuum pumps. And I had a little root around on the shelves and I found this guy, which I believe is a vacuum pump from a Mark 6 Ford Transit. I'm going to build a mounting plate for this. I'm going to change the pulley from this ribbed belt pulley to a normal V-belt like what is on the Land Rover. I'm going to build a mounting plate and I'm going to fit it to the Land Rover to give me mechanically pumped vacuum for my servo. There's a couple of challenges in doing this because these vacuum pumps need an oil feed and a vacuum, well, an exhaust back into the crankcase. So there'll be a bit of engineering has to go on here to make this fit on it. So if you guys are interested in me making a video about how I fit this vacuum pump to my Land Rover, hit me up in the comment section below and let me know if you're interested. If there's enough interest in the comment section, we'll make a video about this and do a side project video on it, on how we're going to get that fitted to the Land Rover, how we're going to work out the plate and, you know, the machine and engineering of it, because I know there is some people on the channel that really enjoy that engineering stuff. Last project on the bench here at the moment is a gear linkage. Customer sent me this gear linkage to be modified. So basically this is the original gear linkage from the car, and we made a video about this, about modifying these gear linkages and fitting them inside the car. He's a race car and he wants to put the gear linkage inside it. So basically strip down the housing. We have to lop off that piece there, which is the original control mount. We're going to bore out both sides of the housing and put bronze bushings in, and we're going to weld on some mounting bosses for him so that he can mount this inside the car. I did a video on this conversion anyway, so if you're interested or you haven't seen it before, take a look. We'll put a link. Actually, I don't know if we can put that many links, so what I'll do is I'll put it in the comment section below. Otherwise my poor editor Billy is going to be, his heart's going to be broke trying to put links. I think we can only put one per video, so I'll put it in the comment section below, because I think I said 2 things to link, so they'll be in the comment section below, okay? And you can follow that video, see that video on making that gear linkage if you haven't seen it before. So yeah, that's another project. So yes, the channel is bringing us in loads more projects and loads more jobs to do. Over here in the engine stand is a a video that we just shot recently, which is rebuilding the engine for that red roof race car. Finally, the parts arrived, we got around to it, and we have the short motor built for that. The next thing to do for that is to rebuild its gearbox. The parts arrived this week for that as well. So we're going to rebuild its gearbox, put its gearbox on, and in short order, you'll get to see that engine being rebuilt. I might do it on the gearbox as well. I might do a video on the gearbox, and then the usual getting that engine into the car and getting it running. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that little update on the garage, little update on how things are going. By the way, that is by no means the end of all the projects. We have a load more projects in the runnings. That's just the few that are in the workshop at the moment and are there. I'm just trying to think, is there any other ones that I need to, any questions I need to answer? There was a couple of questions that popped up recently. We talked about Gretel in the last one, so yeah, we know where that's going. The engine lifting hooks is in progress. You'll just have to bear with me on that. They are going to happen, but there's going to be a bit more time before they come about. The merchandise is also pretty much ready to rock and roll, so expect a video on that really soon. We're just waiting for some pictures back from our models because the merchandise has landed, so you can expect that to be launched in the very near future. To everybody who is new to the channel, you are most welcome. Thank you for coming along and watching our videos. If you like what you see, take a little look around. There's loads of content up on the channel. If you like what you see, think about giving us a subscribe, because it really does help us out, and it helps us get more notoriety and get us out there. I'm going to mention in this video that we will be doing a live with Cole from Classic Mini DIY the weekend of the 22nd. Okay, there'll be a link in the description down below for that. It's already up as a premiere, so what you can do is you can click that link, you can go over there and you can set a reminder for yourself, and before we go live that reminder will pop up and you can come and join us. So on that live, I'm going to be answering questions with Cole, so if you have any questions you want, jot them down on a piece of paper, or you can send them in to me or send them in to Cole, and we will answer them during that live. So hopefully I'll get to see you over there. I love chatting with you guys on the lives. It's great crack to, you know, put faces to names, or well, to be able to talk with you guys up front and in person. So have a look at that. If you haven't listened to our podcast, we just recently did a podcast with the Classic Mini Breakdown. It's really, really good. He did a brilliant job editing it, and I think he bit off quite a bit more than he could chew with bringing me on his podcast, but I think he had a bit of fun, and we had a very enjoyable chat. So that's Classic Mini Breakdown. Go have a listen to that if you haven't heard it. Other than that, thank you very much for following us along and watching. Don't forget to hit the like button. As I said, that really does help us out as well. Comments in the comment section below, and we will see you guys on the next one.